Hey, Kate.
Hey, hi.
I'm very good, thank you. Kate, you've kindly volunteered to run a class for us on Neurographica.
Yes.
What is Neurographica?
So Neurographica is a drawing technique, but very much just putting your subconscious mind onto paper, scribbling, playing with it, coloring it, and changing things that are happening inside. And you don't even need to know what it is you're working with. So it's very much a subconscious technique that
It's
we're
got kind of an intuitive.
yeah, definitely using your intuition, doing something on the paper, and then something else will become apparent that you need to do. So you can be balancing things, you can be playing with your emotions and changing those. But it's very, very deep work and can go very
Yeah.
deep, can be quite emotional for people when they're doing this.
Cool. So we're not like drawing actual objects.
No, no, not at all. Like you see a few of the things behind me that
Oh yeah, could you
there are
show
no
us one?
objects. I've got some others. So this is another one that I did. That one.
Okay, cool. Right.
That was one I was doing on um, coronavirus back in the day, just playing with my feelings around it.
Right.
So there's no artistry at all.
Right,
You don't
yeah.
have to be, because you start off with a scribble and then you work from that. So there are kind of steps that we
Yeah.
go through in Neurographica. It's a technique, there's certain steps you do, and each step is making another change and kind of maybe calming a feeling or resolving a conflict you got inside, or even helping you make a decision. Do I go that way or that way? You can play with it in all sorts of ways, and it's kind of just working with your inner self. As I said,
Right.
not you don't even need to know what it is. You just maybe know there's something that doesn't feel quite right, or you're feeling a bit odd about something, or upset, or
Yeah.
whatever it can be. And you can just do a little doodle. You can do it like that, like a little baby one,
Mm.
play with it. And it doesn't have to be, no one else ever needs to look at it and say, well, that's beautiful, because it's
Yeah.
going to be meaningful to you, whatever you do. You're not looking to impress anyone but yourself
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, I just really like you didn't say what that last one was for, what it represented. I really like that because we don't. No one else needs to know,
No, no, not at all.
and no one else actually could know. Like our inner experience is often impossible to put into words. In a way that can be easily kind of
Yeah,
captured and
yeah, exactly.
quantified.
I
And
love
most,
that word. I love experience, because geographic, it's an experience.
yeah,
It's what you're doing. It's an experience, a bit like an improv. We're experience, there's for no real purpose other than the experience itself, and that's
yeah.
kind of what you're doing. But there's a change. It may be very subtle, or it could be quite deep, quite, a big aha moment might come in.
Yeah, makes me think like people go to five rhythms dancing or something like that, and there isn't like but you can't do it right or wrong or good or bad,
Mm.
and yet, or it's not a contrast really. It's like when we get out of trying to achieve something that where we've already set the goal before we started, then we can find new paths that um, we didn't expect and discover new things.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's the whole thing, not expecting, because you can't guide it. You
Yeah,
can't make it happen. It is surrendering to whatever is happening and trying something, and then if that works, then do more of that, and if it doesn't, then you try something else. Very much like bringing that improv idea back into, but it's doing it on paper, and that's all we're doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome. And how did you get into it? Like what have you got from doing it? What drew you to it?
Yeah, well, the thing that I loved about it more than anything was that for me, because I'm quite a sort of, my background is serious science, left brain, really
Yeah,
sort of right and wrong answers, black and white, everything is like, this is how we do it, and this is a structure that we do it in, and
yes,
you have to do it right, and there are lots of rules around it. And as I got into doing more therapy work, because I now work full time in therapy, and I found that the whole using the mind was great, but there was so much more. There was another part of it, and this whole exploring, not knowing, and finding that all the answers are in the not knowing, if that makes sense. And so opening yourself up to possibility and what happens if I go down there? I've never been there before, and have a look in there, and noticing that when you do that, that the world doesn't end, and then you can open up and explore more. And so it could be a sort of confidence building, and it can be releasing conflicting parts of yourself and all of that. And so for me, I could only do that sort of work with another person. And I found with Neurographica, I can work on anything on my own. And so that was a big thing for me, because before it was always, I would be working with somebody else. You know, I've got this inner thing going on. I'm not sure what it is. I'm going to need someone to help me get perspective on it. Because when you're stuck in it, you can't really, it's hard to work on it, or even know what it is in the first place, or where do I even start?
Yes.
And so this is the only way I've ever found that I can do that on my own easily. You know, so that's why I love it. And yet, as a group, it's also a very, very powerful thing to do as a group too, because we kind of, there's a shared thing that goes on in this openness that where more possibilities maybe can come out in a shared way as well. So that's also great to do it as a group too.
Yeah. Sounds so great. Taoists call it the fertile void, don't they?
Yeah, I love that.
The space of like, there's nothing here, there's nothing here, there's nothing. I'm just waiting. I sometimes found that sort of insights and change, it can be a bit like fishing or something like that. You just kind of got to hang out in waiting for the thing. I don't know why, it made me laugh when you're talking. So often, I lost my glove the other day, and it's quite cold in England as we record this. So it's like, I really want to find my other glove. And I spent a lot of time going around my flat, looking in places where I had already looked, right? Which is madness, right? It's like, I'm going to check under the sofa one more time. Like, no, dude, you've already looked under there. It's not going to be there. And that's such a, when we over plan or set, we can prevent ourselves from looking in new places, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as soon as you put words around something, you're limited straight away with the words. And the beauty of putting it on paper is there are no words. Like we were saying, it was a bit like journaling without words. Yeah. That's kind of like, that's one way of looking, exploring. You can just use it to explore something.
Yeah. Beautiful. So what might someone get from coming to this session? What are we going to do? What do people need to bring?
Okay, so for what I thought would be nice to do would be to look at we could use it for a way of just exploring something. Maybe it could be a block. Maybe you're trying to make some sort of change in your life, or you're thinking about change, and maybe there's a little bit of resistance. A part of you maybe is resisting. There may be some part of you that's sabotaging what you want to do, or it could just be a feeling, an uncomfortable feeling that you would like to help release a bit more. So anything that's kind of a little bit resistance, or something that's a bit uncomfortable that you would like to change, then we could work with that. So people could come along with either a goal they've got in mind, and we could explore the resistance to making that happen, or it could be a feeling that they would like to release, or a feeling they would like more of, and we could look at which part is resisting that. And then we'll do a little bit of an embodied practice at the start to sort of get in touch with that part that is the resistance, and then we will get straight into just drawing on paper. So, and then I will guide the steps that we take. So I'll be doing it as well with you all. So then so you'll be watching my page as I'm doing it, and then you'll be doing your own, and then we can sort of stop and share throughout any questions that come up. Then we'll just do it as we go. Everyone will keep their microphone on, and we'll just share what's coming up for us as well, because different feelings come up as you're doing it. It can be quite good to verbalize that and share what's happening.
Yeah, and what kind of it's a bit of a paradox here, isn't it? Because we don't want to tighten down like what people might get from it too much, because it can be a whole range of things. But what kind of things do you find people get from doing it? Just to give people
Usually there's a lot,
rough idea.
there's a feeling of more calmness around. If there's any resistance, it tends to calm it down. It tends to brighten up the thing that you want more of. So it's more of a towards thing. So you're being pulled more towards something you want more of. Instead of feeling held back, there's more openness and movement, sort of flow. A lot more ease around the topic, whatever that is that you're drawing on. So it's a sense of calm, ease, flow, more freedom to act in the way that you want to act going forwards. Yeah.
Sounds great.
And you also have at the end, you will have a picture that is beautiful to you. It doesn't matter what other people think, but for you, it will feel complete. There'll be like a relief around, that just feels, when I look at it, there's a sense of relief. And that, so it's a reminder also to you that you can put up somewhere, and you'll always be reminded of that feeling. So it's almost like an anchor that you can use to take you back to that feeling. If you ever sort of lose a bit of sight of it, you can use that to get straight back to it as well, which is lovely to have.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you, Kate. If you'd like to join the class, then there'll be a link for how to do that somewhere close to this video. Yeah. All right. Thanks very much, Kate. Looking forward to it.
Great, you're welcome. Look forward to it.